Level up with the new AAA Commanders MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA plus exclusive experiences, discounts, and tickets. Already a AAA member? Upgrade for free at AAA.com/Commanders. Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Hi, everyone. Happy Friday, everybody. Second Monday night game in 2 weeks. I'm scared. I'm scared of this one. I was feeling good about that Bears game. This one's going to be interesting for sure. Just a little programming note. Callow's running in the marathon, which we'll talk about later. Then going to Kansas City. I think still, right? You're going to go?
Yeah, I'm still going. I'm not. Okay. I'm going. I'm in, man. I'm in. Like,
the no Jaden part of it didn't dissuade you from getting on the plane? Because I know that was. I told you this like the other day when all this stuff was coming out. I'm like, they're probably actually not playing in that stadium ever again.
Right.
Like the Chiefs are going to get a new stadium too, I bet. And by the time the Commanders play them again out there, it's likely that the Chiefs won't have that stadium. And it almost certainly Mahomes won't be playing there. So, if you want to see it and see him, you kind of got to do it now.
Every morning I fire up my app called Time Hop. I don't know if you know it, but it basically just takes all of your social media and your pictures and stuff and says, this is what happened 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4, all the way back to whenever you've had social media. Today is 3 years that it was either 3 or 4 years that the Washington football team played in Lambeau. Well, I paid to go see Taylor Heineke in Lambeau. So if I'm paying to go see Marcus Mariota at Arrowhead, I've made similar trips. So that's what I'm getting at here.
And you got to see what was essentially the last run of Rodgers at Lambeau, too. He wasn't playing. Like, he was there playing for them at the time. So
they're also, I love uniforms. They're wearing throwback uniforms for that game, too. Yeah. But, like, what I'm getting at here is I paid for worse. This is fine. Like, I'm with my age, like, oh, we have a franchise quarterback and he's not playing. I'm used to it, pal. So, like, yeah, I'll be fine. I'm still going on Monday.
I mean, the times have changed. Our backup isn't Wentz. So,
right.
Go ask the Vikings about that today, about how that's working out for him. Scott probably is like wishing he lived in Minnesota right now so he could ask some serious questions of them. The reason why I said this, though, was Cal and I are not going to speak together on Monday or Tuesday because I'm going to be at the game. I'll put together a show, obviously, previewing the game. And then Tuesday, we both have weird travel schedules, and I'll have a show for you after the game, but you're not going to be on it. So we're going to talk about the Chiefs game a little bit here as I've kind of expedited a little bit of my preview today, just for you, Callow, just for you, as I get set to face them. And I want to start kind of with this. This is why, I love playing with this now. They are the Kansas City Chess. That's what they are these days. They take a lot of layups. So pawn to rook 4 is what's going on here. This isn't the good old days where Mahomes is just seemingly running around and looking for something, and every time he does, he finds it. There's a little bit of that. There's an element of that, but he has matured into he will take what's given to him. And now that they have their complement of receivers back, Worthy, Rice, fill in the blank with anybody else, Smith-Schuster, Thornton, it doesn't matter to a degree. But now that he's got the guys that he's worked with back, and Kelsey, who can't, it reminds me of Ertz actually a little bit. He can't move like he used to, but he's still very dangerous because he just knows how to play. So the difference with him now is kind of like Ertz. There's no, like, after he makes a catch, some huge play that's happening, but he's open constantly, just open. He just knows how to play. And they actually kind of just dink and dunk the death out of you. And that's kind of what's been going on with them. So this is probably Andy Reid's dream. It's the manifestation of everything he ever wanted. Back in the day when he was the coach of the Eagles, the offense was actually very similar with Donovan McNabb. Dink, dunk, dink, dunk, dink, dunk. And the big issues that he had, one, they would get on him about time management. And two, they just wouldn't hit the big plays when they needed them. So, like, if they got into a game where they needed to make a big play, it just never kind of happened. That's obviously not the problem here. For a long time, Mahomes was winning MVPs, one, because they were prolific, but two, because he did these crazy things. You actually don't see a ton of that now. He's matured into a type of quarterback that doesn't really do a lot of it. It's like he pulls it out of his bag of tricks when he has to. So my biggest concern in general is that the way that our corners have kind of dealt with things that they're just going to get hit for this 5-yard thing, hit for this 7-yard thing, hit for this 5-yard thing, boom, over the top to a fast receiver, and they're going to lose them. That's what I'm worried about playing them on Monday night.
No, I mean, and they're so patient I'm not surprised that's probably what's going to happen on Monday. And what I really don't like, though, is what you're talking about here, which was what worries me about this defense, is they're just going to take what's given to them. Well, this defense tends to give up quite a lot to just about every position on the field at this point. Yeah. And you could make an argument, too. The Chiefs have as many weapons as they have in the last couple of years, right? Like, they've got now Worthy, Rice, Kelsey is still really good, like you're saying. Like, all of a sudden, they actually have I think they have a little bit more firepower than, especially last year, but maybe a couple years before that, too. I would make that argument. So, those guys getting open in space is what really worries me, because if this defense was locking guys down when they were just getting swing passes or little dinks and dunks, I'd be okay, but they're not tackling well. So this is like a bad matchup at this point for me.
They just get a million layups. Like, right. And this is Mahomes. Like, they just get a million layups. He walks up the line, knows exactly what he's going to do. He's not throwing. He's not making a lot of mistakes. There's not a lot of interceptions or stuff like that. There's not a lot of balls going in harm's way. Things like, not recently, at least. And this, like, now this has kind of turned the corner that they got Worthy back. Now they get Rice back. All of a sudden, they're looking like the potential of what they've been in the past, but they don't do it the way they used to do it. And maybe that was back in the day. Tyreek Hill was such a weapon. Kelsey was such a weapon that they could go down the field a lot more. Worthy could kind of, he's nobody's Hill. Nobody's that fast. But like, they realize it's like they've morphed into, we're just going to just gut you to death with these small things here and there. And eventually it's checkmate, and you just can't score enough. So they're going to end up with, like, if I told you, I'm like, well, they're going to have 4 scoring drives, and you'll be like, yeah, that's actually really good. Well, that's 28. So, like you got to score more than 28 to beat them. And this is where missing Jaden hurts us, because while actually, if I read to you the metrics of completion percentage, yards per attempt, actually this year, that all is better under Mariota, but the explosive plays are not there. That's under Jaden. So this is where missing Jaden's going to hurt, I think, because the truth is we're going to have to score 30 and probably more than that to win. Because if you're like, well, they only scored 4 times, like, that's great. That's 28 points. And if you can't score more than 28, you can't beat them, period. And that feels like that's the overwhelming part of the weight of this game that's kind of lingering and hanging on them, not unlike last week for different reasons. Dallas's offense was so explosive. That's actually, the Chiefs can be, obviously, but that's not exactly what they are. They were so explosive that I'm like, if we give up 2, 3, 4 big plays, we're going to be in a boat race with these guys, and we're going to have to try to outscore them. This group is methodical, and they walk down the field, and they can kill time. They do everything. They're actually not a great run team, but they don't have to be. Like, they're good enough at it. They just end up with close to 30 points every single game. And for us, if Terry's not back, which I'm hoping he is, if Debo's not back, which it looks like he's going to be, and without Jaden, making the miracle plays for us here and there, getting to 30 feels hard.
Pardon the Taylor Swift pun, but death by 1,000 cuts is the phrase that you're looking for over there. Is what that really is. And what I would say here too is it's the worst combination, because if I were to ask you, what do you think the best offensive game plan is to try to win this game, is what? It's probably running the football, right? Well, it would take too long if they scored 28 points that you're probably going to try to do that, but you're going to get behind too fast because it's going to take too long.
There are very few NFL teams where you don't where it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, even if you shorten the game on these guys, I know what they're capable of.
Right. Well,
you have to score 30 unless they just turn the ball over a bunch of times. Like, you have to score 30 to beat them, which we're scoring in the 20s every week. It doesn't matter who's playing, which is amazing that we are doing that. It's just the weight of it and the pressure of it. I think, like, not unlike last week, it only took a couple of mistakes before all of a sudden it just went sideways. This is a very different game. The Chiefs could do that type of stuff, but they don't do a lot of that stuff. They actually are more engineered now to have these long sustained drives. They're just excellent. They're just excellent at it. And so much so that I would say Mahomes is back in his MVP form. Go look at his numbers this year. 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's going to end up, if he stays on this clip, rushing for like 700 to 800 yards this year. He doesn't do anything on designs, obviously, but when he scrambles, he's very smart about it. I know everyone yells, he slides when he slides, and he kind of induces all these, penalties and all this stuff, but like he's on it right now. I mean, like really, really, really on it right now and looks like the MVP again.
No, I mean, I was actually going to, before you even jumped into Mahomes, was talk about, remember when the Chiefs came here 3 years ago? They kept it like I think they were the Commanders at that point already, or the football team, whichever one they were. Remember, they kept it close for like 3 quarters.
They were the football team because I called it. So they were the football team. Yeah.
Okay, so, but remember, they were close for like 3 quarters, but you just felt like it's Mahomes. He's going to dagger them, and he did, and eventually they pulled away in that game, right?
That one was he made some crazy play where he ran around all over the place and chucked it up like this, and they ended up getting an interception. I remember verbally saying, I can't believe I saw Pat Mahomes just do that. Like, that was nuts. And the game was close. And then I looked up the stats. He threw for almost 350 in that game anyway.
Yeah, right.
This is what it is with him. Like, I mean, it's not who you play, it's when you play them. And they are, I'm telling you right now, they're methodical. Now that they're getting their guys back, it's methodical. It's not like it used to be where he runs around and chucks it up and there's Tyreek streaking down the field and you can't catch him. Or Kelsey getting a 10-yard pass and turning into a 30-yard game. It's not what that is anymore. But it's like he's playing a different game than you. He's AI. Like they walk up to the line and every play is 5, 6, 7 yards. Every play. And so it's like you just feel the weight of it is what you do.
You're saying AI. Do you mean the basketball player or do you mean the computer? I need that distinction.
Pick your whichever one you prefer because it's both.
I'm just
it's both.
Just
right
saying,
now.
When you go with that analogy in sports, I don't know what
all right. It's AI, the technology, and he's Jokic really as a football player, where it's like he could do anything at any given moment, and all the layups he makes.
Yeah,
and you look up, and he's got 35 points, 12 assists. Like that's what it is.
Yeah, you're like, oh, he's having a good game, and you look up at the stats, and he's running you out of.
And you're like, what the hell? When did he get to that? Because it was all so easy for him, And like every once in a while, he does this no-look crazy pass to somebody, and you're like, oh, that's why he's him.
The second I knew this was going to be even more of an uphill battle was when they ran that fake play last week, the fake like false start play. Did you see that? Where he went up to the line and he said, this never effing works. And it works. And they snap the ball and run it. I was like, oh God, they're having fun again running this offense. Like that's never good. Like, you know how this works. When they were doing that stuff and then the offense wasn't good, Andy Reid knew the vibes and kind of shifted back on that. When I saw them doing that and effing around with the Raiders last week, I was like, we don't need to see this because that's when they do the stupid snow globe play and all this stuff where they do backyard football, and like that's never good when the vibes are like that for the team that you're playing against.
No, it's not. On the other side of the ball, one is Chris Jones, who got raked over the coals for kind of loafing it on the Trevor Lawrence when he fell down, got up, scored a touchdown play where Jacksonville beat them a couple of weeks ago. And I don't love that Sam Cosmi was on the injury list after playing one game with a back injury. I described last week for him as like, listen, he'd only been practicing a couple of weeks. First time he played, and he had a rough one. Like for first go, like Osa Odigizua was in the backfield a lot against him last week. The right side of the line struggled a little bit last week. Jones lining up on that side of the line, which is where it's his preferred side. That's going to be a matchup to watch here. He's best in the business, and he's one of the great closers in the NFL. I think it feels like after 45 minutes of trying to deal with this guy, good luck with the last 15 with him because he's just a monster. And so he's kind of what stirs the drink for them. Their metrics, if you go through like all their next gen stats and advanced metrics, when he's on the field and when he's off the field, there's just a massive difference. So Cosmi, assuming he plays, or Wiley, they got their hands full. Because when he's out there, it's a total different situation with them defensively.
Yeah, and I mean with Cosmi too, you would expect they probably have to have extra protection in for Mariota anyways, which also that does factor in here. Like, does C-Rod get a little bit more time in the backfield? Because that's what he's actually really good at with, being a pass pro type guy. Is he in there a little bit more than Bill is? I think that's just another layer to this game that I don't have a great feeling about, because you're sacrificing one to help something else out here. And yeah, I don't feel great about it, especially with that matchup.
And the other one to watch here on defensively, where they're very, very fast, is in the linebacker position. Bolton, Tranquil, they're very, very, very quick. And Chenal, and they get to the edges very, very fast. So you've got an unblockable person up front. Karlaftis is a recipient of that, does very well on the edge. They've just got all the parts. McDuffie's an outstanding cornerback. Their safeties they play aggressively. So Spags has everything he needs here, is be the way I would put it. And the linebackers are part of this. And I think we're all having visions, because I know everyone's complaining about Bobby these days, like of Luvu, McGee, and either Medrano or Cajo, whoever becomes their guy. And then all of a sudden we're very fast at that position again, which is something to talk about down the road. But if you kind of look at that as a model of what they have, where they have an incredible interior defensive lineman, but they don't have Karlaftis is good, but he ain't Bosa, like that's not what it is. But what's behind them is very quick, very stout. They get to the ball. They're very good tacklers. I think this is what Dan Quinn and Joe Witt are looking for out of that position. And I'm seeing visions of that probably down the road when we get a little younger and a little faster at that position. But if you watch them, that's kind of a secret part of what they've got too. You don't think Bolton gets some publicity, but you don't think of Tranquil or Chenal as like really great linebackers. Nobody talks about them that way, but go watch them and see how quickly they're getting to the edge and plugging up holes, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And I think that's probably the vision of what Quinn and Witt are thinking about. Bobby still does this in the run game for sure. It's in the passing game when he gets caught in bad matchups, which, I think this week, honestly, I don't actually see that. Like, Travis Kelce's not faster than him, and they do throw the ball to their running backs, but it ain't like Bijan. So that matchup part that we've had a problem with in recent weeks, that kind of doesn't exist here, but we got enough on our plate actually with Mahomes and everybody else. So
I was gonna say the problem there though is that, like, the running backs that don't do it, teams decide to do it against us. That's the main problem here, because it is a problem. Yeah. So that's where I hear you. But I'm not going to be surprised.
The Pacheco game is my point. That's not what's going. They don't need to do that. They are incredible at finding the right matchup, and I don't know. There's just some kind of like telekinesis between Mahomes and Kelce and some of these others where it's just they just know where to go, without saying it to one another. Like it's pretty insane.
What I will say is this, because I mentioned this on my show yesterday, was like, I know that Kansas City defense is fast. The one thing that, once again, you give them half a puncher's chance is Mariota's, read options is probably one of the best in the entire league when he gives you that look. So if you can get them hesitating just a little bit and hit them with a big play, whether that's him running it, him handing it off, or it's a play action RPO type thing, I will say, like, I think hopefully there's a good dose of that to start things off, to at least get them hesitating a little bit, so they're not teeing off on you like we've seen in some of the other games.
I agree. Like, listen, I'm not trying to paint this picture like they can't win. They can. Like,
sure.
We have a good team here. We all know, and they've acknowledged this. I didn't even talk about what Dan Quinn said yesterday, and we could have spent 30 minutes on it, where he was just basically like, one, we're not making a bunch of personnel changes, if that's what you were looking for. At least there may be some tweaks, but you'll see. He was basically like, we just need to play better. And I think this kind of falls in line with, and this is probably where they ended up, which was what I've been saying for a week now, and everybody's asking for blood. Who's being held back? Like, this is the group they have. They got to figure it out with the group that they have. And I still believe they have enough talent to win. And it's an NFL game, and I don't put anything past anybody going out there and winning. And like, I think they could go out and win. And their offense has been regular. They're a top 10 scoring team too. So it's not like they can't score. And it's not that I don't think they can do this. And I do think they're going to need a little bit of help. I just think defensively, you're asking for a massive wholesale shift in play, execution, no mistakes against a team that's got an MVP quarterback that's been doing this for 10 years. Like, it's just the wrong time to have the come to Jesus and we're going to be fine, guys, this week. I honestly, like, I hope they win, and I don't put it past them that they could. But like, all I really, really, really hope for as I head into the weekend is, can they just be right there kind of with them in a very competitive game where you feel like, okay, we're fine now. And now that we come home against good opponents, but we come home for 2 games, here's an opportunity to really actually fix it. What I just can't, I think would be devastating is if they walk out of there with a score like they had last week. I think that would be devastating, even though everyone would say, well, it's the Chiefs and well, it's Arrowhead. I just don't think mentally it'd be very good for them. So I just think either way, I'm hoping that this is a very competitive game. And if they lose an Arrowhead, there's no shame in that. And if they win there, the season will feel like it turned around.
No, I mean, they're very much in a state right now where you're just trying to get the bus back on the road. And
Yes.
if you happen to get back on the road and stay there for a little bit, I'm okay with that. But if you get ran off the road again in a 38-17 game and it's not close in the third quarter, I'm with you. This is where things start to go sideways a little bit. I hate to use the phrase moral victory, but like they got to hang with this team to have any kind of hope in terms of the feeling of the season is what I'm getting at here.
Well, if you're a good team, you hang with a team like this.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Like if you're not, you get destroyed by them. That's welcome to the NFL and the resident dynasty that's in it right now.
I mean, and the other thing that we haven't even talked about, in the first 20 minutes of the show is like both Terry and Debo were full participants yesterday. It looks like they should be good to go. And if they are, once again, like at least the defense, the Kansas City defense can't tee off on the offense again. So
Correct.
like I need to see some shades of the real offense here a little bit too. And if I can kind of take something away from this game, I'm going to feel much better about the next couple of weeks as well.
Yes, I agree. Before we go to a break, why don't we just do the game from last night here?
Yeah.
Where I will ask this question. Is Minnesota done? Because, I saw a couple of clips and a lot of people are just out loud saying, if J.J. McCarthy was good enough to be active as a third quarterback, well, then he could have possibly played, which means this is feeling more like a benching and a benching in favor of Wentz. And we lived that experience. And now it's starting to, last week, they were in it with the Eagles, but they got to the red zone 6 times and kicked 5 field goals, which is why they lost, right? And then last night, it was what show. And this is just going to spiral the wrong way. And if the reality is that they just don't think McCarthy's ready for prime time and they're trying to hide him a little bit and use this ankle as long as they possibly can to not put him back in, then they're done. Like, because in that division, they literally will not recover. And they're going to have to start answering. They're probably getting similar questions like we're getting about like, well, you did this and you did this. Their big one is, and you didn't bring Darnold back. Why exactly?
This is like, it's pretty rare that I feel like really horrible for a player. I felt so bad for Wentz last night. He was dealing with that shoulder injury. It's the fourth quarter. He gets hit to the ground, and dude is basically crying because
they should have pulled him. That was really terrible. They should have pulled him out.
They pulled him a quarter too late. And I felt bad for that. And then it was really odd. I think Herb Street, must be buddying up to KOC or something, because Herb Street, if you saw the clip, Wentz chucked his helmet at the bench after that last one because he was in so much pain. And Herb Street drops this, well, if you're the leader of the team, you got to kind of hide that sometimes. And I'm like, Kirk, it's a 21-point game. He's not the long-term leader of the team. He's pissed because he's probably being forced to play, if we're going to be honest here. Like, shoulder injury on a short week, that doesn't really add up. And so then you started getting the excuses for JJ too, where Herb Street also was like, well, he's been hurt a long time and he hasn't been practicing. He was the emergency quarterback for the second week in a row. That's fishy, man. Like, I don't care who you are or how young of a player you are.
They don't want to play him.
That's correct. Like, I think KOC apparently had a quote where he said, oh, this organization has done wrong by young quarterbacks. So he was trying to play it up. They were trying to play it up that we don't want to ruin him. Dude, it's year 2. Like, this is the modern NFL. You don't have the time to sit him on the bench like that. Really weird. And yesterday was like the one where it's coming to a head of, I think there's players in that locker room going, why aren't you playing him? Did you see what Wentz was going through? I think that's what they're asking.
Yeah, it was really bad. And so it all reads to me like, well, he's just not their answer now. Like, maybe he will be, but he's not now, which is why I'm like, they're done. And then I looked up their schedule. Lions at Lions, Ravens home. We'll see. Lamar's probably playing, if not by this weekend, by then.
Yep.
Bears home. That's going to be huge. At Packers, at Seahawks, Commanders home, at Cowboys. And if they don't have a viable quarterback, they lose most of those. They do. And their defense is now, this is typical. This happens. The defense is like, we can't carry this. Like,
right.
And they're also looking at the other side of the ball and they're going, we know you have a good offensive line. We have maybe the best wide receiver, if not one of the top 2 or 3 in the NFL. And the guys opposite of him are really, really, really good too. Like, we're losing because of our quarterback, and you won't put the young guy in because you're scared. Because you're scared. This started in training camp where there were a lot of like things that were going around where they were like, I don't know, he's not looking great, like that type of stuff. And they're going to get, and this is deserved, because Sam Darnold had a Pro Bowl year last year, and they walked away from him, and he wasn't like he was asking for $250 million. The contract he got in Seattle really wasn't crazy. If McCarthy wasn't ready, there was no shame in bringing him back for a couple of years, and they just didn't do it.
What I don't understand here, though, is McCarthy has shown you enough that he's a pro. Like, he had the comeback win against the Bears. Then he had a bad game against the Falcons, and then he got hurt. It's not like he showed you nothing in all of this, too. I think you have to be a believer at some point of getting him out there should help him. Now, the one thing I'll push back on you is that the offensive line hasn't been good this year, and there's a reason Wentz got knocked around so much over the last couple of weeks. But, like, granted, last week you were playing the Eagles, maybe the best defensive line because they're the best defensive linemen in the league. But you have to throw him out there at some point and then try to protect him. And if it's going sideways, well, then you have bigger questions about the organization. This is the first time in a while where it seems just like they missed on a really big decision, and now they can't seem to like get themselves out of it. That's always the problem here in the NFL. When you can't admit your mistake or come up with a solution, I'm not even talking long term, just any solution, that's where you get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, they missed hard there. Like, look at what Darnold's doing in Seattle. I mean, what a miss. I like last year I was like, why don't you just bring him back and let him compete? And if JJ beats him out, he beats him out. So what? Like, what's the rush? Jordan Love's fine. He had to wait a few years. He's totally fine. You have him under contract. You don't have to people were making it out like it was a choice. If you bring back Darnold, you got to trade or cut McCarthy. No, you don't. Why would you? He's on a rookie contract. Why would you do that?
Yeah, and like the one thing I don't understand here either is this is the second quarterback they walked away from, right? Like they could have rolled with Kirk. I know Kirk wanted a lot of money, but it's not like he was bad there. So it's a little bit odd. They walk away from Kirk, go to Darnold, walk away from Darnold. Now you turn to the guy that you drafted and it's not working out. That looks really bad in retrospect.
It does. It really does. All right, let me take a quick break. Brad wants to show ESPN 630, the Sports Capital. Commanders fans, this is for you. Level up with the new AAA Commanders MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, like 24/7 roadside assistance, plus 15% off Commanders gear at the online pro shop, chances to win game tickets, access to exclusive MVP events, and unforgettable experiences. Already a AAA member? Add the Commanders MVP upgrade for free. Head to AAA.com/Commanders to join the squad and put your fandom in drive. All right, welcome back. Let's get into some of the games this weekend, and let's start with Miami and Atlanta. It's time to tune out Tua as they take on the Falcons. I will join the chorus of people that say he needs to stop doing press conferences because each one gets weirder every single week. He claimed that he's not throwing the ball to Jalen Waddle that much because he's short. He called out all of his teammates recently and said there's no leadership when he's the quarterback. He had a couple other weird ones earlier this year. I don't know. Is he trying to get out of there? Is he trying to sabotage himself? Like, I don't know what's going on anymore. And if he is, he's not painting himself as the leader or someone who says smart things because it's not looking good. It just all sounds bad. He needs to stop talking about all this stuff. He needs to go full Belichick, answer the questions he has to, and say, I'm on to Cincinnati and move on because every time he says something, it's getting worse and worse and worse.
He had the one a couple weeks ago that always makes every single fan base crash out where he was going, oh, yeah, I love football. But, you know, at the end of the day, I get to go home to my family and I have a really good marriage and all of a sudden I'm always like, dude, no one cares. Like,
Nope.
I understand. I totally understand what you're saying. Do not say that in front of football media because your fans are going to kill you. And he did that. And I went, oh, no, what is he doing here? You guys are terrible. Don't do that quote right now.
Yeah, don't do that. Like I know it's too much. I got a funny feel like because the trade deadline will have pass before when we go to Madrid. There will be a fire sale there. They may have a different coach. Quinn Ewers may be starting against us. Like, I think it's very possible that that's what we're getting in Madrid when we face them.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. And I mean, it's just falling apart on them. And he needs to do Jaden. Jaden does it really well, actually, where he doesn't say anything. That's what Tua needs to do.
And if you can't figure it out, I'll take the Falcons this week.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Flacco versus Jets, Han. Give me the Bengals. They got the good juju again. The Jets are just an abject mess. They hadn't, as of we're taping this, hadn't announced who the starting quarterback is. The owner said his starting quarterback is the worst starting quarterback on the face of the planet Earth. Give me the you want to talk about stop talking, you sir, stop talking about, that's your team you're talking about. What are you doing? Give me the Bengals here.
You gave him $30 million, bro. It's not anyone's fault but yours, man. So yeah, give me the Bengals here too. The other, I forgot to ask you this. Did you see the clip of the kid being interviewed outside of the Jets game?
Yes.
All time he starts tearing up.
Yes.
He's tearing up. It's like, come on, man. Come on.
You can choose another team. What I appreciate is that even at this age, he goes, there's no escaping this. I'm in this. And there's nothing I can do. And all that said to me is, I love my dad and my friends so much that I just won't leave it, even though I know I'm in the worst cult of all time.
That's right. 100%. Absolutely. And the pain in his eyes when he was talking was just, I've been there, man. I've been there.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Let's see. The Patriots get another bowling pin. They're going to bolster their record again. They get the Browns. I mean, I assume that they're going to win the game. And so the Bills have themselves a real two-team race now. Like, this is, and it's partially because, listen, you play who you play, and it's been set up the last couple of weeks. They're rising. They're getting better. I thought they might be a wild card team this year. In fact, I projected them to be because I thought this would happen. This would be a two-team race. May's looking better. Vrabel make a better coach team. It also helps that they're playing very weak competition. So you just keep knocking those things down, and all of a sudden you look up and your record's good.
Go look at the Patriots schedule after this too. They actually don't play a lot of strong opponents outside of Buffalo one more time. Buffalo gets a couple bad draws. I think the Patriots are going to win this division as long as they stay healthy, and it starts this weekend.
I'm going to freezing cold take you on that one. Fine. I still got the Bills. I still it feels a little ahead of schedule, but then, the NFL's weird. I mean, last year, Minnesota was 14-3. Look what's happening to them right now. Right. Washington was 12-5. They're not going to get back to 12-5. Like, that's not going to happen this year. So this stuff does flip around. And I said this when we went to that joint practice. I'm like, May looks a lot better than he did a year ago. They're going to be a better coach team. They went and bought some talent. Like, what? And that division looks like it could be 2 S shows in it. And if that's the case, then you're automatically just in a 2-team race, and that's where they are.
Yeah, I will say this though with the Patriots though, they're a little, or not with the Patriots, with the Bills. It's a little bit of shades of here. Who's coming in to save that team? I don't know who they're adding or if they're trading or anything like that. That offense is what it is a little bit. So I'm just saying, I don't know where the spark comes from in Buffalo.
So I'll say that we're going to find out who they are here this week. They've lost a couple in a row. They get Carolina. I know it's in Carolina. Carolina's playing better. I don't think they should beat a team like this. I don't think Carolina's there. And when, it's everything's kind of on you to right the ship, this is the type of team you go and win against. And therefore, I trust Josh Allen and company here. They're going to go down there and win. And I think they're going to win kind of going away, like 10 to 14 points, something like that.
Bryce Young also didn't practice for 2 days this week. So I don't know if he's actually going to be playing. So I will say this, though. Carolina has been kind of up and down. They've been good at home. Like, they beat the Falcons. They beat the Cowboys at home. I anticipate this being close into like the third quarter. And then I think the Bills pulled away from it in the fourth.
Yes. Let's see. The Giants get the Eagles for the second time in 3 weeks. Are they really going to sweep them? Not today, Scattaboo. Ain't happening. They're going to knock them off. The Eagles are at home. Their fans are looking for blood. If they think that Dart and Boo are going to do their little, Comedy Central show on them again, you got the wrong party here. Eagles win. Listen, the Giants are extremely competitive, and I do think the fun train will run out if the losses start to pile up on them, and it won't be as fun anymore. But they're having a blast, and I don't want to rain on their parade. They're having a blast up there. Eagles win. They're so weird. I don't know what the score is, but the idea that the Giants would be sweeping them is preposterous to me. So give me the Eagles here.
Also, the Eagles did what we didn't want to see them do last week. That was win by the pass game, and they used both Brown and Smith, and they both had career days, and that's what we don't want to see. I think like over 300-ish yards of Jalen Hurts 350 went to both of those wide receivers. They're getting operational, and I anticipate that continues because I think the red flag with the Giants, too, is that defense, man, giving up all those points in the fourth quarter. They haven't been rushing as much as we think they should. I'm concerned about that game. The Eagles win this for sure.
Ravens got rid of ping pong, hon, and no more pinball or papa shot or anything like that there, hon. And I'm going to expect that they wake up because their record is not what anybody would think it's going to be. I don't know if Lamar's playing or not, so we'll just have to find out. I got a feeling, though. Like, I've seen the Bears up close and personal. I bet the Ravens have a wake-up defensive performance here and do enough to actually win. And if Lamar plays, probably win, in the Raven form, which is going away in the fourth quarter. Give me Baltimore here because, like, the Bears' rush defense actually isn't good. And that's a real problem here. And Caleb, do you really trust that he's going to take on an MVP-style quarterback and beat him? I don't yet. Give me Baltimore here. Baltimore's going to win.
Chicago. I'm going Bears here. I think.
Oh, man.
Chicago plays.
Layup, dude. The Ravens going to knock them off, and the Bears people are going to be like, we lost to a 1-5 team. They're going to like freak out. Watch.
Chicago plays to their opponent. And you know what? I still don't trust that Ravens defense. It is really, really bad. They don't know what they're doing yet. And Lamar hasn't played in a couple of weeks. You think he's just going to bounce back and turn into form? Okay. And if that doesn't happen, and what you're saying to me is that, oh, that means they should be handing the ball to Derrick Henry a bunch to win that game, right? Guess what the Ravens just don't do? The thing you're supposed to do all the time. So give me the Bears. Give me the Bears to win a close one on some fluky play because the Ravens are having that type of season.
Ravens. Lock of the week. All right, let's see. What else do we got? Mac Attack goes again in Houston. Brock Purdy is still out. They're fine with him. He's been beat up and playing through it. I just think they're a tougher team than the Texans. So I don't know what the score is, but I don't know, 17-16. Niners win.
This is such a bad draw for Houston because San Fran loves these low-scoring games where they just kind of hang around and dagger you. Yeah, give me San Fran here. This has been their season. They love a team like Houston right now.
I agree. Give me Gasparilla over Mardi Gras as the Buccaneers, who are really, really, really beat up. And some of the pieces are not coming back now, like Mike Evans, et cetera. So long-term, this is tough. The Saints, I will give it to them. They're very plucky. They're not good enough to win this game. Tampa Bay is going to have a bounce back. They got, I don't know if embarrassed is the right word. Their defense got embarrassed a little bit. Give me Tampa Bay to get a couple turnovers and find their way to a win over New Orleans here.
I was waiting for floating ships greater than parade floats. I thought that's what your Chiron was going to be. Yeah. Give me Tampa here. They're the better team. Saints are, like you said, are plucky, but Tampa wins this.
Red Hot Dak gets prickly Peyton. Let's see. Cowboys offensive line underrated, playing relatively well here. Dak is on an MVP pace. He's in the conversation, especially if they can get a good record. CD and George are back together. So they're a tough matchup for everybody. Denver's defense is weird. Some weeks they're like dominant and other weeks they give up a ton of points. I would assume this is a high scoring game. I'll take Denver at home because they're at home, but I bet this is a high scoring game. The Cowboys are going to be in a lot of them. 35-27, something like that. And whoever gets to 30 first probably wins here.
I'm with you. I think it's going to be high scoring. It could be last player to hold the ball, wins this game. I'll take Denver here because they are at home, but I'm not going to be surprised if the Cowboys do go on the road and Dak's throwing bombs, over there. So give me Denver reluctantly on this matchup.
Similarly, as I was talking about the Patriots, the Colts are going to be 7-1. Deal with it because they're playing the Titans this week. They're an abject mess. The Colts are not. And so, keep riding the train. It is only just about half of the season. There's a long way to go. I'll believe it when do I believe they're going to be 15-2? I don't. So I'll believe it when I see that. But again, you just play who they put on your schedule, and they got one of the worst teams in the NFL, so they're going to win.
I mean, you know how this goes too. things could break down. They go 500 the rest of the way. They still win 11 games, from here on out. So they're going to be set up for success. And I'll just give you the little bit of tidbit here because I know you don't pay attention to it. The 12.5-point spread for the Commanders-Chiefs game is not the highest on the board. It is this matchup with the Colts being favored by 14.5 against the Titans. So, yeah, even Vegas is going, they're going to get killed.
Sunday night is Packers-Steelers, which, of course, focused on Aaron Rodgers. Will be playing the Packers. At this point, is he capable of pulling off what are the typical moments in these types of series? Like when a legend takes on an ex-team, sometimes they summon up these crazy performances to kind of show them that. I don't know that he's capable of that anymore. The Packers, meantime, while look like have every piece to be a juggernaut, haven't acted like one, but they do win a lot. So this is a weird game. This is a really weird game. 24-23, somebody. I don't know who. I'm more inclined to think it's the Packers here, that Micah gets to Rodgers a couple of times, but I don't know, actually. Neither one of them's been very predictable, so I'm not really sure here.
Rodgers also went softy this week. Like he did the whole... this isn't a revenge game for me. I love so many people in that organization. I can't wait to see so many of my teammates. Then he went and said, I started my career with Green Bay and I'll finish it there one day. Like, as in I'll sign like the one-day contract type thing. So
that's good.
I think Rodgers had a little bit of retrospective, like the grass wasn't greener in New York, on the Jets side. And maybe I shouldn't have done that. I think that takes a little animosity out of this. I'm with you. Both of these teams, like, they always are right there in the fourth quarter. I'm going to lean Packers here because they're at home, but I'm not going to be surprised if the Steelers somehow come away with this one.
Yeah, they're probably both playoff teams, but they're probably both so unpredictable. It's hard to know if they're set up for a run or not. It's hard. Right. It's really hard to tell with them.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let me take a quick break. Bray, watch the show. ESPN 630, Sports Capital. Commanders fans, this is for you. Level up with the new AAA Commanders MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, like 24/7 roadside assistance, plus 15% off Commanders gear at the online pro shop, chances to win game tickets, access to exclusive MVP events, and unforgettable experiences. Already a AAA member? Add the Commanders MVP upgrade free. Head to AAA.com/Commanders to join the squad and put your fandom in drive. All right, welcome back. We now know a lot more about this gambling investigation. One, it's two things. One is the traditional age-old, somebody was giving inside information to gamblers, specifically in one particular case of a teammate of LeBron James telling bettors that LeBron James was either not going to play or was going to be completely marginalized, which obviously would be very helpful for a gambler to know on an NBA game. It is important to say that with his name linked to this, I have not seen LeBron James linked to anything. And I think when you hear his name floated around, let's be very careful about that he's not directly involved with any of this, because you just hear his name and all of a sudden people go, oh, LeBron's involved. He's not. At least as far as I can tell, he's not. And I think they would have announced that yesterday if he was. So he's not. The other one, is right up my wheelhouse of this is straight out of Ocean's 11. Mafia run card games where they used or had involved, and I think that's where Chauncey Billups going to figure out what his defense here is. Did he not know this was going on? He was just part of games where he was invited to play in, but didn't know about the malfeasance, which I think will be his defense here. Or was he in on it the whole time, which feels believable when you're hanging out, I don't know, with the mafia at private games, and then they bring people in. And I've played enough poker to know that when somebody goes all in with gut shot straight draws and it happens 10 out of 10 times, that ain't on the up and up. Okay. Like you don't get that 7 of diamonds every time, pal. Like it doesn't, like, in fact, the odds are against you getting it at all ever. So if it happens over and over, it's rigged. And what they described was pretty interesting types of technologies that were used. X-ray tables, cameras in poker chip bins, weird glasses that can see marked cards. It's pretty wild if you read everything that's involved in all of this.
Yeah, no, it was straight Ocean's 11. There was like lasers they were using that they could see or not see, or X-rays and all this stuff. And I was kind of like, whoa, this is way more than sports gambling over here. This is way more than tipping off some insider info and a player entering the court. This is a whole entire operation, so to speak. So yeah, and it was what, 30 something people were arrested. I mean, that's a little bit more elaborate. You also then have to ask the question, what was the mafia saying to some of these people to get them involved, right? Like, they don't just voluntarily do all this stuff often either. So this is going to be something with a lot of roots playing.
Yeah, there's a lot of repercussions coming. I did like that one of the defendants' nickname is Quack Quack. That was one of the mafia guys is Quack Quack. That's a pretty good nickname to have if you're in the mafia.
The other one was
you're never gonna be the big boss. There's no big boss named Quack Quack. So the most you're gonna be is lieutenant. That's about it.
The other thing is our boy Gilbert Arenas was like fully leaning into the I told everybody everything thing yesterday, which I found hilarious because remember, he was arrested and then promptly let go within like 24 hours.
He because it was like poker games, everyone was like, oh, it must be the same thing. And I saw Gilbert do a clip where he's like, all the guys I was with are Russian.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about it. And he goes, I ate with Quack Quack and the Italian mob over here. Different games. You all need to think about two things at once and whatever. I mean, I don't know what he was doing either. So I don't know.
Right.
All right, real quick. Give me the Caps weekend. Columbus tonight on the road. Senators here tomorrow. What do you got?
Columbus been a little bit better this year. I anticipate this one to be tough, but you know what? I saw a metric the other day. It's the Caps, the Hurricanes, and the Avalanche are the three best offense expected teams in the NHL. As in, even if they're not scoring, they have the most amount of chances in the entire league right now. Caps are even more underrated than we think. Give me a 4 points for 4 points weekend. I think they beat Columbus, they come back home, and they take care of the Senators as well. Give me 4 points this weekend.
All right. And last thing, Callow is running in the Marine Corps Marathon on Sunday. I just wish you good luck with all of that. Not that I think you need it, but what are you thinking about 2 days before running a marathon again?
I will tell you this will be on Sunday, my third marathon in 365 days to the dot because of running it last year. And I ran one in April as well. The previous two, I had a lot of anxiety leading up to them, a lot of nervousness. I don't feel much going into this one. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. So just giving you the athlete perspective over here, I feel very, very ready. My PR is 4:21. So I'm hoping that, I beat that time. And, I always say this too. DC doesn't have its own marathon. This is it, essentially. And I always feel really proud to run a major marathon in, our home city. So can't wait for Sunday. And I hope to see you out there because I think you said you were going to try to come out.
I am going to come out. You got to send me all the information again. The tracking stuff. And, I don't have that anymore. I didn't keep it. So you got to send it to me again. And I will, hopefully I'll be in if you want, because it'll be early. I don't remember what time, but I'll be in Georgetown. Right by M Street and the Key Bridge. So I'll be hanging out there if you guys want to come out and root on Callow with me for 20 seconds when he runs by. And, last year, of course, when you ran in the Marine Corps Marathon later that day, one of the most famous Commanders outcomes ever occurred. It was the Hail Mary that day. So I'm hoping for a repeat of the magic. And we get not only you doing well in the Marine Corps Marathon, but we get Hail Mariota. Hail Mariota in Kansas City.
Good. That's
who knows.
10 out of 10. I'll give you that one.
That's a 12 out of 10. That one.
That's a really good one.
Over Mardi Gras was and my favorite up until this one was the river card has been renamed Chauncey.
That was good. You did sail over it. I was waiting for you to reference it. You sailed over
it. That might be. You have to watch on YouTube to see that. I play around with my chyrons. I am a amateur New York Post headline writer. Hail Mariota. Not bad if I get to say that. It's in the wheelhouse if for some reason that happens on Monday night.
I will tell you this. I will be wearing my medal to the game on Monday because it's the whole thing when you run a big race. It's Medal Monday, so you wear your medal with whatever you're doing. So I am wearing it to Arrowhead. Maybe that brings us a little bit of luck on Monday as well.
All right. Yep. If that actually happens, I may have to quit after it. Be like, I can't do any better than that.
Or even worse, I have to run a marathon on a game day once a year for the rest of my life, apparently. Apparently that'll happen.
Right. If they get a Hail Mary again, you have to run in this every year.
Yeah.
Period.
Great.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. Talk to you all, or I'll talk to you. Good luck in the marathon. I will talk to you on Wednesday, and I'll talk to all of you, listener people, viewer people, on Monday. See you later. Bram watch the show, ESPN 630 Sports Capital.